The argument that the impeachment inquiry is trying to make here is that Joe Biden got a bunch of money. Well, they're not clear if they got the money from China or they got it from Ukraine. They're working on that. They're working on a theory. But they do know that the Biden family or Biden family members have been trading off of the name Biden, and that they have bank accounts. And apparently they're using things like limited liability partnerships. They know all that. But the story they want to really push is that Joe Biden, and he did this publicly, which is a really dumb way of doing it, threatened Ukraine by saying, if you do not get rid of your corrupt federal prosecutor who is refusing, among other things, to investigate Burisma, we're going to deny you aid, and so won't the rest of the Western European countries who have the exact same policy agenda. We all have this. It is stated U.S. policy. And in part, it was one of the things that they noted was refusal to investigate corruption they felt was at Burisma. And when you understand that that's what was going on there, why subsequently Burisma hired Joe Biden's son to sit on their board of directors, which they clearly thought was going to be a way, even though Biden at that point is out of office, a way of like trying to get back into the good graces of, you know, we have a Biden on our board, and when you know that Hunter Biden is sitting there calling his dad and telling everybody, shh, just watch this. I get connections. You understand that. But here is Fox's Brian Kilmeade trying to essentially carry water for this failed impeachment inquiry, which no one really fully understands exactly what they're inquiring about. There is, in other words, this isn't like past impeachments where there is an accusation and we're going to assess whether it's even worthy of an indictment. This is an impeachment where there is no accusation, but there is smoke around what could be an accusation. We just haven't come up with the accusation.
Impeachment in search of a crime.
And here is Brian Kilmeade sitting down with former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, trying to get him to help in the Republican impeachment inquiry adventure.
I had a chance to talk to Viktor Shokin, a man who says he was friends of yours, who you asked to come back and help out during the transition after the previous regime. Here's what he said on why he was fired by you. Listen.
Poroshenko fired me at the insistence of the then Vice President Biden because I was investigating Burisma. There were no complaints whatsoever, no problems with how I was performing at my job, but because pressure was repeatedly put on President Poroshenko, that is what ended up in him firing me.
Is that why he got fired, because of the $1 billion and the former vice president, now president?
First of all, this is the completely crazy person. This is something wrong with him. Second, there is no one single word of truth. And third, I hate the idea to make any comments and to make any intervention in the American election. We have very much enjoyed the bipartisan support, and please do not use such person like Shokin to undermine the trust between bipartisan support and Ukraine.
Right. What do you mean? He's not your friend?
I don't see him maybe 4 years or something at all, and hate the idea to have him because he play very dirty game, unfortunately.
Okay, so that is not true. He didn't get fired because of Joe Biden.
He was fired because of his own statement, and if he do not do that, next day Ukrainian parliament will fire him with that.
All right, Mr. President, thanks so much. Stay safe. Best of luck along the way in this counterinsurgency. Hope you make some big progress through the rest of the fall. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, he seemed a little cross, Kilmeade.
Yeah, wrap this up quickly. That's
Quite
pretty
a tan,
funny.
though.
Yeah. So that is just, I mean, case closed.
I mean, look, listen, there is no doubt in my mind that having all of Europe say, like, you're not going to be trading with us. We're not going to, we're not, you need to hit a certain baseline of corruption, because Ukraine had serious, and still, I think, has serious governmental corruption issues.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody would refute that whatsoever. But the guy who was supposed to be in charge of dealing with the corruption was, by all accounts, incredibly corrupt himself. And the Europeans and the United States had an open policy, public policy, of Shokin, among others, has got to go before we start to even consider you guys a, potential European partner.
Yeah, like if you want to have a critique about the United States using the amount of aid that it can provide to other countries as leverage to get them to change certain parts of like the structure of their government or cabinet officials or whatever, and say that's not a good use of U.S. power. Okay, you want to make that claim? We can have a debate on that, on those merits. But there's nothing improper by the law for Biden to leverage the billion of dollars in aid to oust someone who's corrupt at a high level in government.
I frankly wish the U.S. would do that with Israel.
But like this is, if Trump had did that, well, like when it comes to Ukraine, they would be like, let's go. That's playing hardball. A tough businessman who's making sure that he's cleaning out draining the swamp in Ukraine. Except he did something similar. But Trump leveraged United States aid to Ukraine in order to get them to start investigating this conspiracy into Hunter Biden and Trump, right? I mean, Hunter Biden and his father, his political opponent. That was the subject of the first impeachment.
Right.
And so that is different than using it for using aid to leverage for aims that are political and related to our connection and intergovernmental relationship versus going after my political opponent.
One is stated public policy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Ron Johnson, that moron, was the one who blew the whistle on Trump in the first place and then had to backtrack, because he was like, how come the aid's not getting to Ukraine? Why isn't it getting to Ukraine? We voted for it. How come it's not getting there?
Right.
Under Trump.
Yeah, good point.
And he found out it was because Trump was trying to leverage it to get dirt on Biden, as opposed to the stated policy of the United States, along with our European allies, was we're not going to give you the aid until you start doing some type of like cleanup of the corruption problems you have in your government. That's the difference. And, some people say like that makes no difference, I guess. I don't know how, but
I would say it was a perfect phone call.
Perfect phone call.